Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Nishagni, and this is Nishagni Tarot, where you receive inspired insights to create an empowered life. I hope your week is going really well and that all of you had an amazing full moon experience yesterday. So, last night was the full moon in Cancer, a pretty emotionally charged time for so many of us. And it was also a time of great introspection for me personally. And so I decided that for my next offering for the collective, instead of doing a reading, I would just pull 12 cards, one card for each sign of the zodiac, and I would create journal prompts for you to work with, whether in the form of actually journaling it in your diary or using it as a prompt for meditation and self-reflection, for using it as a planning prompt to plan your days ahead in 2022, or even to pull your own tarot cards or oracle cards, affirmation cards, or do any sort of scrying, divinatory, or psychological work, shadow work, whatever you feel comfortable with, to use these prompts that I have created and to really explore and dig deep into different archetypes that can set the tone for the next couple of weeks or maybe even the entire year. So I've pulled a bunch of cards from the Reclaim Oracle. It's a deck that I use for shadow work, self-reflection, healing work, and so on. And it really offers excellent prompts for really digging deep into yourself and understanding certain matters that you may not consciously consider or which may unconsciously be acting upon every single decision that you take. And I have made a bunch of notes, which is basically for the questions that I want to pose for each person or each sign of the zodiac. And the way I have structured this is that I have kept around 4 to 5 questions for each sign of the zodiac based on every single card that I've drawn. So, how can you use these journaling prompts either today or anytime in the future when you feel comfortable to use them? So, one way that you can use them is by taking the sun sign, that is your sun sign. So, for example, if you have a sun sign that is Aries, you can choose to work solely with the prompts of the Aries card that I've pulled. Now, another way that you can work, which is something that I have done so myself and which I prefer for myself, again, of course, is to consider your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising, and to work using all the prompts of those pertaining signs. The reason I would recommend this or rather just suggest this is that sun sign, moon sign, and rising sign affect different aspects of our life. And if you consider evolutionary astrology, they represent different facets of our personality as well. Now, the way I perceive sun sign, moon sign, and rising is that the sun signs represent our outward manifestations. The sun produces light of its own and it gives light, shares light to the planets and the moons of different planets, and therefore it exudes light outside. So, to me, when I work with sun signs, I look at it in the sense of how we as individuals interact with our external community. Moon signs, on the other hand, as you know, if you've been familiar with spirituality or the occult or even tarot, the moon represents internal reflection. The moon illuminates the shadow side of life. It helps us look at life from a different perspective. And the moon itself works on reflected light. It is the reflected light of the sun that illuminates the moon. So therefore, the external light of the sun signs, these prompts that I have provided, your sun sign will illuminate your internal life, your internal perspective, your shadow side, which you can better understand by working with the prompts of your corresponding moon sign. So if your sun sign is Aries and your moon sign is Virgo, you can work with both Aries and Virgo prompts. Then third, we have the rising. Now, to me, the rising sign represents those personality traits that are sort of on the back burner. They do affect you, but not in a very direct and obvious way. They are the secretive parts of our personality, or the parts of our personality that aren't fully developed yet, but are still being expressed minutely or through subtle tendencies. So if your sun sign is Aries, moon sign is Virgo, and let's say your rising is Scorpio, then you can consider including the Scorpio prompts along with these three. So doing so can help you hone in on 3 specific energies or areas of life that you want to work on. And then you can kind of use those insights that you've drawn from these journaling prompts and create a pathway for 2022 with whatever area of your life that you're planning. So that's something that you can do. And a final way that you can work with these journaling prompts that I'm about to share is to just use all the prompts that I'm sharing, irrespective of the sign, the zodiac sign, whether it's a sun sign, moon sign, or rising. If you feel called to work with all of these journaling prompts, go ahead. These prompts will continue to be on this video, and this video will be available for free on my YouTube channel forever. So if you want to just look at the videos or explore the journaling prompts right now but not really work on them, you can definitely do that. Just be sure to subscribe to my channel, save this video in your watch later box, and come back to it whenever you feel like it. I have added the timestamps for each of the zodiac signs, so if you don't feel called to look through the entire video, feel free to jump around to whichever sign that calls to you, whether it's your own personal sun sign or all 3 of your signs, or any particular sign that you may be interested in. So feel free to do that. All right, so let's get started. So the very first sign that we're going to do right now is Aries, and the card that I drew for Aries is criticism. I hope this is visible with the light. Yep. And the journaling prompts that I have created for criticism are: first one, have you received criticism lately? Have you received criticism lately? Prompt number 2, what is your usual or typical response to criticism? What is your usual or typical response to criticism? Prompt 3, do you feel you deserve this criticism? Do you feel you deserve this criticism? Prompt 4, is there truth to this criticism? Is there truth to this criticism? Prompt 5, what steps can you take to address this criticism? What steps can you take to address this criticism? Now let's move on to the next sign, which is Taurus. And for Taurus, I have drawn the card Courage. Let's explore the journal prompts for Taurus. Please feel free to pause the video after each prompt as you work through them. Prompt 1. What does courage mean to you? What does courage mean to you? Prompt 2. What are you afraid of bringing into 2022 from 2021? What are you afraid of bringing into 2022 from 2021? Prompt 3. What do you fear the most about or for 2022? What do you fear the most about or for 2022? Prompt 4. How can you be your most courageous self this year? How can you be your most courageous self this year? The final prompt. Is there courage in vulnerability? Is there courage in vulnerability? All right, so let's move on to the next zodiac sign, which is Gemini. And for Gemini, I pulled the card Betrayal. Now let's look at the journaling prompts for Gemini. Prompt 1. Have you honored your goals for 2021? Have you honored your goals for 2021? Prompt 2. Have you betrayed yourself in any way in the past year? Have you betrayed yourself in any way in the past year? Prompt 3. How can you forgive yourself for not meeting your 2021 goals? How can you forgive yourself for not meeting your 2021 goals? Next prompt. What expectations did you have of others and did they meet them? What expectations did you have of others and did they meet them? Final prompt. What can you do to stop handing the keys to your happiness to others? What can you do to stop handing the keys to your happiness to others? All right, so let's go on to the next sun sign, Cancer. And for Cancer, it's so wonderful that I got this prompt, especially given that it was the full moon in Cancer last night. The prompt I received was surrender. Let's look at the prompts that I have for Cancer. What do you make of the phrase, there is strength in vulnerability? What do you make of the phrase, there is strength in vulnerability? Prompt 2. What habit or trait would you like to give up or not take into 2022? What habit or trait would you like to give up or not take into 2022? The next prompt. What area of your life can benefit from less control? What area of your life can benefit from less control? And then we have the final prompt. Who or what makes you feel comforted and confident as you surrender control? Who or what makes you feel comforted and confident as you surrender control? All right, let's move on to the next zodiac sign, which is fiery Leo. And for Leo, I pulled a prompt which is love. And now for the journal prompts for Leo and love. Prompt 1. What does love mean to you? What does love mean to you? Prompt 2. How can you cultivate love for yourself offline, that is off the digital sphere? How can you cultivate love for yourself offline? Third prompt. How can you cultivate love for yourself on social media? How can you cultivate love for yourself on social media? The next prompt. What can you do to give love to your community? What can you do to give love to your community? What does this sentence mean to you? The next prompt. What does this sentence mean to you? Giving love is a privilege, but it can also become a burden. What does this sentence mean to you? Giving love is a privilege, but it can also become a burden. The final prompt for Leo. How can you set healthy boundaries for those who demand love from you? How can you set healthy boundaries for those who demand love from you? All right, let's move on to my sun sign, which is Virgo. And for Virgo, I pulled the card Loss. And the journal prompts for loss and Virgo are: Prompt 1. Is there a part of yourself that you are being forced to lose in 2022? Prompt 1. Is there a part of yourself that you are being forced to lose in 2022? This could be in the form of making goals or resolutions. Prompt 2. How has loss affected you in 2021? How has loss affected you in 2021? Prompt 3. What can you do to feel more secure and full as you come to terms with this loss or absence? What can you do to feel more secure and full as you come to terms with this loss and absence? Next prompt. Does loss or any loss that you have faced have a positive impact? Does loss or any loss you have faced have a positive impact? Final prompt. How can you use your losses to gain something new and beneficial? How can you use your losses to gain something new and beneficial? Now let's move on to the next zodiac sign, which is Libra. And for Libra, I pulled support. And now let's look at the prompts for Libra and support. Prompt 1. What do you feel about asking for help from others? What do you feel about asking for help from others? Prompt 2. Have you proactively sought support in the past year? Have you proactively sought support in the last year, in 2021? Prompt 3. How can you help others help you? How can you help others help you? Next prompt. Has being lifted up by the community helped you in any specific way? Has being lifted up by the community helped you in any specific way? Next prompt. How can you support others in return for supporting you? How can you support others in return for supporting you? Final prompt for Libra. What does the phrase, little drops of water make a mighty ocean, mean to you in terms of support? What does the phrase, little drops of water make a mighty ocean, mean to you in terms of support? Moving on to the next zodiac sign, which is the mysterious Scorpio. And the prompt that I pulled for Scorpio today is fear. Let's look at some of the journal prompts for Scorpio. Prompt 1. What are you most fearful of? What are you most fearful of? Prompt 2. Has this fear affected your personal or professional or spiritual growth? Has this fear affected your personal or professional or spiritual growth? Prompt 3. What does embracing the fear mean to you? What does embracing the fear mean to you? Next prompt. How will embracing the fear help you? How will embracing the fear help you? Next prompt. Are you unconsciously propagating the cycle of fear? Are you unconsciously propagating this cycle of fear? Next prompt. Why might you be propagating fear in your life? Why might you be propagating fear in your life? Final prompt for Scorpio. Name one step that you can take to walk through fear with courage. Name one step that you can take to walk through fear with courage. Moving on to the next zodiac sign, we have Sagittarius. And for Sagittarius, it's a pretty heavy card. Again, I pulled defeat. Now let's look at the journal prompts for Sagittarius and defeat. Prompt 1. Have you struggled with any goal or resolution in 2021? Have you struggled with any goal or resolution in 2021? Prompt 2. What do you feel about not having met a goal or a resolution that you've taken? What do you feel about not having met a goal or a resolution you had taken? Next prompt. Did this defeat have any benefits? Did this defeat have any benefits? Next prompt. Can you allow yourself to fail without feeling like a failure? Can you allow yourself to fail without feeling like a failure? Next prompt. What makes you feel enough about yourself? What makes you feel enough about yourself? Final prompt. How can you set yourself up for successful defeats in 2022? How can you set yourself up for successful defeats in 2022? Now on to the next zodiac sign in our list, which is Capricorn. And for Capricorn, the card I pulled was validation. Let's look at some of the journaling prompts for Capricorn. Prompt 1. Do you compete with yourself? Do you compete with yourself? Prompt 2. How do you feel when you can't do better than the old you? How do you feel when you can't do better than the old you? Prompt 3. Is seeking validation from others different from seeking validation from yourself? Is seeking validation from others different than seeking validation from yourself? Next prompt. Have you truly felt happy through validation? Have you truly felt happy through validation? And I mean real, authentic happiness. Have you ever felt it? Next prompt. How long does happiness from validation last for you? How long does happiness from validation last for you? Final prompt for Capricorn. Can validation be healthy, and what does healthy validation mean to you? Can validation be healthy, and what does healthy validation mean to you? Moving on to our next zodiac sign, which is Aquarius. And for Aquarius, I've pulled the prompt passion. Let's look at some of the journaling prompts for Aquarius and passion. Prompt 1. What does passion mean to you? What does passion mean to you? Prompt 2. When was the last time you felt passionate about something or someone? When was the last time you felt passionate about something or someone? Prompt 3. How can you allow yourself to feel passion without feeling guilty or shame? How can you allow yourself to feel passion without feeling guilty or shame? The next prompt. What does denying passion feel like to you? What does denying passion feel like to you? Final prompt for Aquarius. How can you create space for passion in 2022? How can you create space for passion in 2022? All right, now we've come to the final zodiac sign on our list, which is Pisces. And for Pisces, I'll put the prompt, release. Let's look at the journaling prompts for Pisces. Prompt 1. Are you releasing anything as you head into 2022? Are you releasing anything as you head into 2022? Second prompt. Does this release feel like a loss or an opportunity? Does this release feel like a loss or an opportunity? Prompt 3. How can you safely release what you're holding on to without harming yourself? How can you safely release what you're holding on to without harming yourself? Next prompt. What does this quote mean to you? You empower what you fight. What does this quote mean to you? You empower what you fight, especially in relation to release. Final prompt for Pisces. What are you opening yourself up to as the release creates space in your life? What are you opening yourself up to as the release creates space in your life? All right, so this brings me to the end of the journal prompts for every single sign in the zodiac. I hope that you enjoyed the journal prompts for all the signs and for your sign in particular. And I hope that these journaling prompts, these planning prompts help you in a way that serves your interests the best, and they empower you to create a plan for 2022 that can help you manifest your goals and really get in tune with whatever it is that you want for yourself this year. So please let me know in the comments what you think of the prompts. Did you find them useful? And any feedback about the journaling prompts. Are you okay with my narrating the prompts instead of putting them up on screen? Or would you like me to paste the prompt somewhere for you to read or copy directly as you move the prompts onto a, let's say, a digital journal, or maybe you want to print them out on Word document or anything. So any feedback would help me create and make these journaling prompts more accessible to you. All right, so thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a wonderful week and stay blessed. So I will see you next time. Blessed be. Take care.